Good evening. The European Union finally reached agreement tonight on the biggest expansion in its history. The financial terms were settled for 10 more countries to join, most from the formerly communist East. The new 25-nation European Union that will come into being in 2004 will have a population of nearly 450 million and will be the largest market in the world. Tony Blair said it was a truly historic moment that redefined Europe and its future.
Usually they're an unemotional bunch, but tonight EU leaders shared hugs of joy. The reason, an agreement which will change the face of Europe. This generation of politicians grew up in a bitterly divided continent, East pitted against West. For them, this was a champagne moment, a celebration of Euro inclusion. Raw emotion came from Poland's Prime Minister.
Today, the 13th of December of 2002, this is the most important day since the end of the World War II in Europe. And I'm very proud to be part of this process.
This landmark deal means 10 more countries are on their way into the EU. Most of them from the old Soviet bloc, Cold War divisions now well and truly buried. Malta and Cyprus are also in. Their arrival will bring total EU membership to 25 and boost the EU's population to over 450 million. All this at a price, of course. It's believed expansion will cost at least £27 billion, much of it from the pockets of existing members, who will have to stump up around 17 billion, a bill of roughly £45 for every citizen. You're going to need widescreen TV for the new EU.
To our new members, I say, warmly welcome to our family. Our new Europe is born.
This is an extraordinary moment in Europe's history. There are decisions of enormous importance that we've taken, which expand and extend the boundaries of Europe, make Europe into a different institution.
Turkey, too, walked out of this summit with a promise. Talks on its membership will start in 2 years. They wanted sooner, but they'll live with it.
In politics, whoever gets angry is going to lose.
Tonight in Copenhagen, a winter chill in the air. This summit was a delicate balancing act, but the haggling over money didn't derail the grand ambition. There is a real sense of achievement here, but EU leaders also know they face an enormous challenge, because now they have to make this bold expansion of the European Union work in practice, and that won't be easy. Stephen Sacker, BBC News, Copenhagen.
Well, our political editor Andrew Marr is at the summit. So, Europe unified, ancient divisions healed, but however is it going to work? With the interests of 25 nations at stake, how is anybody ever going to make a decision?
Well, that is absolutely the question. It is already hard enough. These kind of summits are a kind of grand carnival of haggling, chaotic at times. Think of what it's going to be like as Europe continues to expand, 25 and then 27, 28 countries coming in like Turkey and so on. It's going to be very, very hard. In fact, it is going to be completely impossible to manage and govern this wider Europe without a radically different way of doing it, a new constitution, in effect. Now, is Europe going to be able to come up with a constitution and a system of government that is both acceptable and is much more efficient? There's not a lot of optimism about that. So, although there was the hugs and the emotion that you saw on Stephen's package there, it's also the case that this could be the beginnings of the great European crisis of 10 or 20 years' time. Unless they get the structure sorted out, it's going to be almost impossible to run this bigger Europe.
And in a couple of years' time, they will be talking Turkey, literally. And now it's a mainly Muslim country, it's mainly Asian country. What kind of impact would Turkey have on Europe?
Well, not only, as you say, is it Muslim and Asian rather than a European country, and what, by the way, does that say for the European Union if it's no longer really just European? It's also, of course, a very, very large country. Within a relatively small space of time, 80 million people. Now, a lot of the new entrants people are going to come across the borders into Britain and be able to work as soon as they join. These are very, very hard choices for the ordinary people of Europe. We better hope the elites have got it right.
Andrew, thanks. And also tonight, NATO approved a deal letting the European Union use its resources to plan military operations. It opens the way for the EU's first peacekeeping operation, which is due to begin in Macedonia early in the new year. A plane carrying more than 100 Celtic football fans put out a Mayday call and made an emergency landing in Cardiff this afternoon after a serious disturbance on board. The fans were returning from last night's UEFA Cup match in northern Spain. An hour into the flight from Santiago to Glasgow, the pilot declared an emergency and an RAF helicopter on exercise in the Bristol Channel was placed on alert. The plane was diverted to Cardiff Airport, where police in riot gear made 6 arrests.
The 100 or so Celtic fans not involved in the disturbances left Cardiff Airport tonight in buses, facing a 12-hour journey home to Glasgow by road. Remaining in Cardiff and in police custody, at least 6 Celtic fans suspected of assaulting a stewardess and endangering the safety of an aircraft. They were led down the plane steps and arrested. The Astraeus Boeing 737 charter was diverted to Cardiff when, according to the airline, a stewardess was assaulted and injured when she complained about a passenger smoking. As a helicopter from RAF Chivenna in Devon was scrambled at Cardiff Airport, a massive security operation was put into place.
There are 148 passengers on board, and at the moment we've arrested 6. It'd be wrong for me to speculate as to the number of passengers involved. Suffice to say there may be further arrests, but at this moment we feel we have the main protagonists in custody.
Like any incident aboard an aircraft, this one is being taken very seriously by the authorities. There are dozens of police down there, many of them manhandling Celtic fans off the plane. But one passenger on the plane played down the incident, saying there was no fighting and things had been blown out of all proportion. A version of events firmly rejected by airport authorities.
This was a normal full emergency for us, which is an event that we would take in our stride. With all the emergency services, but the pilot did have a problem on board, and he was obviously requiring some serious assistance.
Celtic Football Club tonight said it was extremely disturbed by the incident. The club and the fans involved are sure to face further repercussions. Willow Davis, BBC News, Cardiff Airport.
There's been a sharp increase in the number of people dying from the so-called hospital superbug, MRSA. The infection, which is resistant to almost all antibiotics, is spread by poor hygiene